What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Marks. But before we get into the preview for the game on Monday night against West Ham down at the London Stadium, I do want to say a massive thank you to everybody for all the lovely birthday messages I got yesterday for my birthday. It was a fantastic day. I really enjoyed it, and thank you to everybody who sent all the lovely birthday messages. So with that being said, let's go into talking about, of course, this game down at the London Stadium, and it's going to be an interesting game as we take on West Ham. Of course, we do have to play a massive game after this one, but this game is first, and the massive game after this game, of course, is only 6 days later, and it is the Carabao Cup final down at Wembley once again for the second time in 3 years. We have made the final, of course, of the Carabao Cup, but we've got to get past this game against West Ham first. Now, looking at this game, West Ham are coming into a bit of form at the moment. They've picked up a couple of decent results against some pretty good teams, and they're starting to build a little bit of momentum now. Obviously, Graham Potter is starting to get his stuff together down at West Ham, and he's obviously starting to get that tactics working the way he wants them to work. But we are going to have to go in there, and we are going to have to put a clanger in their momentum, and we are going to have to go in with a good mentality, an attacking mentality, and go at them from the off to get away from the London Stadium with all 3 points in the bag. Because if we can come away from the London Stadium with all 3 points in the bag, then it helps us sit in a better position for European place in the Champions League for next season. Now, it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. It's live on Sky Sports for this one, and it is going to be a very interesting game indeed. Now, looking at the team news on the West Ham side of things first, before we're going talking about the team news on the Newcastle side of things for us, and what Eddie said for us going into this game. The West Ham side of things, Lucas Paqueta is available for selection, so he will be in the squad for West Ham, you would believe. Vladimir Kulov is a doubt, apparently. Mikel Antonio obviously is still out after this situation with his car that he got into with the accident. Somerville is out as well. Fulkrug is out, and they are seeking a third consecutive Premier League win. 11-day gap between games due to an FA Cup exit as well. In a home record this season that's seen them lose 7, won 5 and drew 2. Only 2 clean sheets for West Ham so far this season at home at the London Stadium. Now, looking at the Newcastle side of things and what Eddie said going into this, of course, there was talk about the availability of players with what's been going on with the injuries of late, and it looks like now Eddie has said Lewis Hall will be out for the remainder of the season. It looks like he's broken his foot, so he's going to be out now for the remainder of what is left of this season. I'm absolutely gutted for the lad, because he's been, pulling Newcastle in the right direction this season from that left back position, and I'm really gutted for the lad, to be missing out on what he's worked so hard for to get, a chance to play in the cup final coming up, and he's now going to miss the rest of the season because of that broken foot situation. And really, really good for the lad, but it's the right choice by the medical team at Newcastle United to, take him out of the picture and allow him to rest fully, because we don't want to be pushing him and playing him if he's injured. We don't want to be risking the future development of him as a player at Newcastle United, because he's got a lot of potential. We can see that, and we don't want to be risking that by playing him when he's injured. And Sven Botman is also going to miss quite a bit of the season. He's not going to miss all of the season from what Eddie said. It's going to be about 8 weeks, because he's had to get some fluid removed from his knee after the knee surgery that he had. So it's going to be about 8 weeks for him to recover from that. So we might see a little bit of Sven Botman getting into the squad. Of course, this season still. He has played a couple of games since coming back from that knee injury, but he is going to be out for at least 8 weeks. Eddie said that is the time frame for, of course, his recovery from getting the fluid removed from the previous knee surgery that he had done earlier on in the season. Jamal Lascelles as well has been a long-term absentee this season, but Eddie did have a little bit of positivity on that one and said that he is training on grass, not with the team, but he is training on grass, and he is getting towards the back end now of course, that training alone on the grass and getting closer to being able to train with the team as well now. Anthony Gordon, of course, will be getting a 3-game suspension after picking up a red card in the game against Brighton. And as Eddie has said, you know, the club talked about it with lawyers, and there was absolutely no grounds. As I said myself, you know, the club wouldn't appeal the red card. In some cases, you might get it reduced, but it would only probably be reduced down to 2 games, so he's still going to end up missing the final. Anyway, Eddie's said in the press conference yesterday, you know, he had a talk with Anthony Gordon, said, you know, what was going to be the decision that they were doing. Anthony was happy with that, and, you know, the club's going to just take this 3-game suspension. Anthony's going to take this 3-game suspension and move on. And other players, you know, we've seen Tino Livramento participating in training as well. Kieran Trippier also participating in training, so both of them are fit. Isak's fit in training and ready to play as well, from what Eddie said. But that's the injury side of things. On the other side of things, you see some players that are on the cusp of a suspension if they're not careful with their play in the next few games. Joe Linton, of course, he's on 9 bookings in the Premier League. A 10th yellow card in the next 5 Premier League games would result in a 2-match Premier League ban. Not affecting, obviously, the League Cup, but we have seen Joe Linton in the past when he was close like this, not that long ago, only a few seasons, I believe it was, when he was very close like this and he went the game. So hopefully he can, as Eddie has said in the press conference himself, he can replicate that again, you know, keep his cool, not get himself that booking, because we do need Joe Linton in that midfield. He is an enforcer. There's not many of them left in the game. It is a dying breed. So we do need to have, you know, that ability there in the midfield to muscle opponents at times. So hopefully Joe Linton can keep his cool in hot-tempered moments and, you know, stay away from getting that booking on the yellow card. Dan Burn, on the other hand, 7 Premier League bookings for Dan Burn. So again, not as close as Joe Linton, but he does need to, you know, keep his temper in tempered situations and, you know, try not get too agitated by players, because you know, we've got the cup coming up, cup final coming up against Liverpool. We don't need to be seeing anybody else being, of course, suspended from that game, because it's already a pretty depleted squad at the moment, with the news of Lewis Hall being unavailable now, Sven Botman being unavailable now, and a number of other players as well still being unavailable for the team going forward. So we do need to be careful with that one. The referee for the game on Monday night, of course, 8 o'clock kickoff down at London Stadium, will be, of course, none other than Michael Salisbury. Only a few seasons he's been in the Premier League now. He is a rookie referee somewhat still. Hasn't quite cut his way in the Premier League as a ref yet, but he is a bit of a dodgy referee as well, as we have seen on a number of occasions. Last refed Newcastle's 2-2 draw with Bournemouth in February, of course, of last year. And on VAR, it is, of course, Alex Chilowitz, who is the MLS official, who just came in this season. Now, looking at the recent results over the past games we've played against West Ham down at the London Stadium. Of course, the 23-24 season seen we'll get a 2-2 draw with Isak scoring a double. The 22-23 season seen we'll win 5-1 down at the London Stadium with Wilson getting a double, Joe Linton getting a double, and Isak also getting on the score sheet as well. And then the 21-22 season seen we'll get a 1-1 draw down there with little Joe Willock, of course, getting the goal in the game forward on that one. But like I say, it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a tough game because we know what Graham Potter's like. We know how he likes to set up his team. And we need to go at them from the off. That is my message to the lads going into this game. We need to be going at them from the off. We need to have that attacking mentality. We don't need to sit back. We need to hit them on the front foot straight away and get straight into their faces. And if we can do that, which I'm sure we will be able to, then, you know, we've got every chance of coming away from the London Stadium with all 3 points in the bag. But anyway, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Any West Ham fans watching, what's your thoughts going into this one? It's going to be an interesting game, as I've said quite a few times already. I know I sound like a broken record, but it is going to be a very interesting game to see, you know, how both teams set up going into this one, and especially on our side as well, with we're having that cup final coming up only 6 days later. You know, will Eddie maybe go with somewhat of a lessened squad a little bit, you know, to try and rest a few players ahead of that game against Liverpool in the cup down at Wembley, or will he go, you know, full strength as we can go with, you know, the situation that we're in at the moment with injuries creeping up again a little bit as they were last season. Anyway, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and like I say, thank you to everybody for all the lovely birthday messages yesterday, and I'll see you all in the next one. However, lads.